PCT after 500 milligram, I mean, after any cycle, it doesn't matter. Let's make that clear. It doesn't matter really, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter totally what you use, whether you use 300 tests, 400 tests, 500 tests, 800 tests, 1,000 tests, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're getting shut down no matter what you do. It is what it is. So I don't recommend your cycle. I think that's dumb. I think doing a cycle and stopping and doing PCT and not doing a cycle for like maybe a year or half a year later, I think that's dumb too, because you're going to make progress and then you're just going to lose it. That being said, I will answer your question. What you should do after a test cycle, however many weeks, doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter how many weeks. You know, you do 500 milligrams for 4 weeks, still fucked. So what you got to do, you have to wait 5 half-lives for that testosterone to get out of your system. Testosterone in enanthate, it's about, I mean, enanthate's what, like a 4-day half-life, something like that. For easy figuring and for the sake of really letting that shit get out of your system, let's call it a week. So 5 weeks of injecting nothing, taking nothing, doing nothing, letting it just get out of your system. That is rule number 1. Okay? After 5 weeks of letting that get out of your system, after 5 weeks of letting that get out your system, go get a blood test. You need to know what your total testosterone numbers are. You need to know what your estradiol is. You need to know, I mean, you kind of want to know what everything is. You should check everything just to see how your blood work looks in general, but get your blood work done because we want to know what your luteinizing hormone is, what your follicle stimulating hormone is, your total test, free test, estradiol, all of it. We want to know what that stuff is because it's gonna be 0. We want to make sure that it is fucking tanked. Because if there's anything going on, if there's any aromatization going on, if you still have, you know, your testosterone and enanthate floating around in your system, which after 5 half-lives you're not, it's going to be gone. It's going to be out of your system. But it's just to make sure. We can ensure that your test is tanked. But I was going to say, if you have anything aromatizing going on and you add HCG in, if you add HCG in, FSH in, HMG in, that aromatization is going to kind of screw things up a little bit. It's going to kind of prolong the process a tad. So you want to make sure that it's all out. That's the point of stopping everything and letting it clear. Once you have confirmation that that is done, then you bring in HCG at 2,000 IUs every other day. KN, thank you for the $20 super chat. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks. You threw me off. 2,000 IUs of HCG every other day. You're going to run that for, like 4 weeks. Okay. You're going to run that for 4 weeks and then you're going to go get another blood test done. That blood test, hopefully, after 4 weeks of doing HCG 2,000 IUs every other day, hopefully you will see your testosterone start to go up. Your testosterone should start to rise a little bit because HCG is an LH mimetic that will help your body start to create testosterone again naturally, and your testosterone levels should start to rise. If you see that your testosterone levels have risen from, like, that's why you want to get the blood test at 5 weeks of nothing to make sure that your test is bottomed out, and then you do it again 4 weeks later to see that your test has come up a bit. Once you see that your test has come up a bit, that means, you know, your body is making testosterone. The next step is to drop the HCG and replace it with Clomid. Clomid is going to make you put out LH and FSH. It's gonna signal the pituitary, I believe, to tell your body make LH and FSH. So it's 100 milligrams I was wrong on this before. I said 20, and I was getting my drugs mixed up. It's 100 milligrams of Clomid every day once you drop the HCG. You run that for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you go get another blood test. At this point, you can kind of just be checking testosterone, estrogen, and those kinds of things. You go get another blood test. Your testosterone levels should be even higher. So your first test, they should be basically 0. Your second test, they should be slightly higher. Your third test should be kicking very well. Okay? If that worked, which it should, if your test levels are now, back to normal, the next step is to titrate out the Clomid. So if you see that after 4 weeks, drop it down to 50 milligrams a week, do that for 2 weeks, and then drop it to 25 milligrams for 2 weeks, and then nothing. And that is pretty much your best effort into getting your body started back up as quickly as possible, in a nutshell. So, but the bottom line is if at any point, if at any one of those blood tests, things don't look the way they should, you do not go to the next step. You keep pushing on the step that you are on. So